Assalamu alaikum. Our next question that I think we should address is domestic violence. Here in America, it seems to be on the rise. We recently had a national domestic violence case with what's the young man's name? Chris Brown and Rihanna.
Yes.
There have been several others, all the way back to our guy O.J. Simpson. So I think what the question is, and this is definitely for the women that are in the audience who may feel trapped. I know as a young man growing up, there was always an aunt, there was always a sister, there was always a female cousin who was subjected to domestic violence, and it was a thing that was always hush hush, shush shush, we won't talk about it. But now that the spotlight is on it, people are paying attention to it. What can we tell the women in the audience who are being abused by no good men? What should they do with regards to that, and what would the Honorable Elijah Muhammad advise them to do? Minister Haleem?
Well, first we have to understand that domestic violence has always been a part of the American culture, and all cultures. As a matter of fact, the Hispanic culture itself, beating their women is part of their culture. I'm not racist, but that's part of their culture. And they keep their women in check because they don't want their women to get out of pocket, as we say. And what they do is they run a really tight-knit family because the mother's not going to be running around, the daughters are not going to run around because they're being monitored by their brothers, their uncles, and people on the block. We need, as people, we need that same type of family unit. To the women, stop being a victim, okay? Stop being a victim. You can't be play boxing, because play boxing and play hitting leads to physical, because you're going to smack him in the face and his reflexes is going to be more than what it was, and it's going to escalate. So you can't play boxing and stuff like that, because that's how society is today. So you have to take your responsibility and stop playing, because you can't play like that anymore because you're heavy-handed. So the second thing is, when this thing occurred, this abuse occurred, you have to tell someone, okay? Because you can't come in the house with your lip busted, or stop hiding bruises and things like that. You have to sound the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You have to sound the alarm.
Yes, sir.
Here at Muhammad's temple, if a brother hits a sister, the sister is obligated to report it to the sister captain reports it to the brother captain takes you in the back, and you are dealt with, and you're put out the mosque for at least 30 to 90 days.
Yes, sir.
And you're also put out the house. You can no longer go to that house until your conduct has been reformed. And you also have to pay all your bills, because you have to be the man of the house regardless. So
yes, sir.
You have to stop, as I said, being the victim. Tell your uncle, tell your brother, tell someone who will deal with it and confront this abuser.
Yes,
stop
sir.
being a victim. I can't say what I want to say. I would say, my mother say, somebody put their hands on you, better hit them back, you know, or bite them, or whatever you have to do. Don't be a victim, and don't let anyone misuse you and abuse you. If you got a bite, scratch, kick, hit up, whatever it takes to keep yourself alive. A live dog is better than a dead lion.
Yes, sir. Minister Yusef, the same question.
First of all, it's a moral issue. In this society, people think that being untrue or running around is a normal thing. A lot of times people do things, right? They say things, but their nature can't accept it. They put the woman out there, but really don't want them to be out there. So they lose it behind there's no moral conduct.
Yes, sir.
You got to have moral principles. This is society, right, is bankrupt in characters and have a moral deficit, right? This whole system is destroyed.
Yes, sir.
Anytime they have an election that they vote in homosexuality, you know something wrong.
Yes, sir.
Anytime the lesbians, right, is running the churches and the faggots running the churches, something wrong. And if you want to be a politician, if you vote against a lesbian, you can't win.
Right. That's a fact.
So the lesbians and the homosexuals got the whole politicians in check.
All right. Are we good? Okay, our next question. Drugs in America. America is historically known as the greatest drug culture on the planet. I work in social work. I work with people who suffer from paranoid schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and substance abuse. And a lot of these mental health disorders are treated with psychotropic medication. And we find that a lot of the pharmaceutical companies have actually become drug dealers. And the doctors are the peddlers. And the poor client is the victim. And the same addiction rate that happens with so-called legal medication is the same as street drugs. So the question is, what can we as citizens of America, what can we do to have our voice heard to stop drug trafficking on that grand scale, meaning stopping drugs from coming across the border? What can we do as citizens of this country? What can we do to stop drugs from coming into America? Minister Yusef.
First of all, your government is doing it.
Yes, sir.
In fact, like Louisiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
When like Louisiana, during the Second World War, he had connections with Sicily. The American government made a deal with him to let him bring the drugs into the country as long as he made the contact in Sicily.
Okay.
I think it was Stalin told America, right? Your best citizen is alcohol. That's right.
Right.
Because this how the system is made up. God in this system is gold, oil, and dope. That's the only God they got in this system. And the CIA is the biggest dope dealers in the whole country. They're the criminals in action.
Yes, sir.
You could probably never, ever really get rid of drugs in America because the foundation of America is drugs.
Okay.
Because when Richard Nixon took America off the gold standard, okay, the gross national product of America was gold.
Okay.
And the American dollar was backed by gold. They used to have silver certificates, and it said "Pay to the bearer of." You could take it to the bank and get $5 worth of gold.
Mm-hmm.
But once America went off the gold standard,
Okay.
and the dollar's not backed by any sound value, so that today the gross national product of America is drugs, because drugs feed the economy of America. No drugs, no economy. No drugs, no police force. No drugs, no congressmen. No drugs, no legislation for building new prisons. No legislation for probation officers. Nothing. See, law enforcement and drugs run hand in hand. When the people stop getting quote unquote high, then look up the millions and billions of dollars that's going to be taken out of the budget. So you can't never really quit it. You can stem the tide of it, as they do during election time. Remember, it dry up at election time.
You remember 2 weeks ago when the newspaper said that Karzai, the guy in the brother in Afghanistan,
Right.
how he was in the dope and the CIA was financing,
Right.
giving the money.
Yes, sir.
So the CIA is financing the dope.
So because they finance it, as I said, it's all a part of American culture. Drugs and dope. Did not JFK's father, who was what, a bootlegger, put his son in office on money made in selling liquor in Cuba,
Right. Rum, yeah.
rum runners, and bringing it back in through Florida and going through the pipeline. So money can put illegal money can put a man in the Oval Office, and it has done it, and it's been manifested.